author, speaker, or service provider who is afraid of speaking on camera? Join the Confident Video Star Nation to overcome your fear. Connect with other professionals, gain access to exclusive resources, trainings, and tools, and learn the skills to become a confident video star. Join now and start your journey to success. Go to Facebook and type in Confident Video Star Nation and join the nation today. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Hey. How's it going? How's it going online in online land and StreamYard land and YouTube land and Facebook land? What's going on, everyone? My name is Alleyne, the Confidence Video Star Coach and Movement Coach to the Stars. I am excited to be here with you today. Feel free to let me know where you are chiming in from. We're going to have a great time today, and we're going to be talking about some cool stuff today. We're going to talk about being present and in the moment, how to level up your camera presentation. Yes. Let me know where you're chiming in from. I know we got some viewers in the house. Let me know. Hey, let's just have a conversation. How about that? How's that sound? Does that sound good? Let me know where you are chiming in from. All right. Oh, and by the way, if you're on Facebook, feel free to click that link above that says StreamYard or facebook.com/StreamYard, and I'll be able to see your comments. So we have someone chiming in from Cameron, chiming in from Greensboro, North Carolina. What is going on? It's great to have you here. Great to have you here, my friend. Really excited. Let me know where you're chiming in from. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to have some fun today. It won't be too long today. You know why? Today's a little different, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, but tomorrow's Mother's Day, so I got to get my drive on and go and get my wife a gift. And it's funny because I came back from doing some movement coaching, and my daughter does some work with me, and she said, we need to go get mom a gift. I'm like, you're right, we do. And the one that we wanted to get her before, she did not want to get that specific gift, so we have to go and we got to be creative. Jeff is from Utah. What's going on? We got Greensboro, we got Utah. Where else are you chiming in from? Let me know. Really excited to be here. Yeah, that's Cameron, you're right. If I don't, I'll be in trouble. So I got to be on my P's and Q's. And believe me, my daughter will not let me slip by. She will hold me to it. Believe me. And the other kids as well. Just for you. So some of you all may know, but I have 5 kids. The oldest is 19, going on 20 in June. The second one just turned 18. He's going to his prom next week. He's graduating. Oh my gosh. It's like in the Alleyne household, it's like everything's like turning over and getting crazy. And then the next one is my daughter. She is 14 going on 15 in September. Should I say 14 going on 32? Nah. And then my next one is 11. And then he's a boy. And then the next one, my next son is 9 actually. So yeah. Oh yes. Thank you. Yeah. Really, we have a school here. Let me just say that. So today, look, we're gonna jump into it today. Oh, before we get started, I want to let you know a few things. If you're chiming in from YouTube, feel free to check out our Facebook group. Facebook is Confident Video Star Nation. So you can go to Facebook and then type in Confident Video Star Nation. We are forming a nation. We're building a nation, and we are letting people know about how to be confident on video. Same thing if you're on the Facebook business page. If you're in your Facebook group, hey, this is where we're having a party. This is what we do. We will be meeting every Saturday at 1 p.m. I'll be doing a live. That's the goal. Now, the challenge with that is that I'm still a performing artist. I perform still, and which I love it. I got to stay on top of my game, right? Sometimes I'm out rehearsing, or I might have a particular show. In that case, I might have to push the time back to 3 o'clock, or I'll have to do another day like a Thursday or Wednesday. And by the way, feel free to let me know if I do have to do another day, what days work for you? Is it a Thursday or is it a Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm thinking about that time. Let me know. Would love to get some feedback. I love getting feedback. Marketing tip. That's a good way of getting marketing research. Get feedback. Always ask questions. That's a good thing to do, right? All right. So today we're going to be talking about being present and in the moment. Up your camera presentation game. So we want to have a conversation. I want to make this interactive because I'm also curious about where you all are at. For me, for some of you all don't know, I do have a background as a professional performing artist. I've been a performing artist for 33 years and a movement coach. I've been on movie sets, working with people like Brooke Shields, Brendan Fraser, Ken Jeong, did movement coaching for them, and some other stars as well, actually. And I've also done performing. I did backup dancing for people like Elton John, Neil Young, some other hip hop artists, and it's a lot of fun. And one of the things I love doing the most is I also sing, and I also was a talent agent in New York City. So I have it's a wide range of experience that I have. And when you have a lot of talent, one of the challenges is to really pull things in and point it towards a specific direction. And if you don't, you could be all over the place. So that's one of the challenges. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The importance of being in the moment and present on camera. And I want to talk about some strategies. I also want to get some feedback from you all and see where you're at. I want to talk about we're going to talk about practicing beforehand. We're going to talk about breathing deeply and slowly before speaking. We're going to talk about maintaining eye contact, which is important, right? We're going to talk about body language. We're going to talk about speaking clearly and concisely. And we might have some bonuses too, depending on the time, because, like I mentioned before, got to get going. All right, so let's jump into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is practicing beforehand. First of all, I want to ask, we got some speakers in the house. You may be a coach and you may be getting ready to speak, whether speaking on camera to do a live, whether speaking at a live event, whether speaking on camera for a live Zoom event, or even a Zoom meeting, or something. You might be in the corporate world and you might be doing presentations for your company. Let me ask you a question. Do you practice? And if so, how often do you practice? I'm just curious. We're just throwing ideas out there. We're brainstorming. We're getting the juices flowing. We're connecting. Let me know. How often do you practice? Or if you do, you might not practice at all. That's not nothing against, no slide against you or anything like that. Just curious, because we're going to talk about this, and it seems like a basic thing, but it's so important. And coming from a performing artist background, the importance of practicing is so much. No practice. Oh, Cameron says no practice and better off the cuff. Ah, cool. I love it. I love it. With the artist world, we call that freestyle. You're better freestyle. I love it. I love it. At the end of the day, what you want to do is self-awareness is so key when it comes to practice. As a street dancer, there's a side of me that's a street dancer. There are times I didn't practice, and there are times I needed to practice, and there were times I needed to let go of practicing because I needed to get a balance. It was good for me to practice because I needed to get my skill set up. I needed to work on specific moves and how I articulated a move, because I look at dancing as communication as well. And there were times where I needed to let all of that go because it got in my way. So as an individual, the key thing was to find a balance for myself. Practice is important. Practice is important because with intentionality behind it and with self-awareness behind it, it's a game changer. There were times where I practiced where I'll practice and I wouldn't be deliberate. I wouldn't be intentional. It's like having a roadmap or being on a GPS and you want to go in a specific direction. You know exactly where you needed to get to, and you wanted to take that get to that destination. All right. So you want to think about that when you practice, and it's important to practice with intentionality. If you practice with intentionality, it's a game changer. If you practice aimlessly, it's a hit or miss. Does that make sense? So the first thing I say about practicing is it is important, and it's that, you gotta, it's important to add, and then also the measure, if you do practice and when you do practice, How am I doing with it? Am I getting better? What am I specifically working on? So when it comes to public speaking, for me, when I practice, my goal is to practice either 15 minutes, I'll practice 2 minutes, I'll practice for an hour. And for my practicing in my mind, because I think about left brain and right brain, I think about the artistic side, and I think about the analytical side. I like to have a balance. So I'll say, hey, okay, 15 minutes or an hour, or even if I get 2 minutes, that's cool. Or I'm gonna throw the time out the window. I'm not gonna make it time bound. You know what I mean? So that's important. So that's one thing you want to think about. I encourage you, if you could, practice, because that way you can measure yourself and then you can see how far you're getting. And now going off the cuff, and as a freestyle artist, right? I needed to get better. So even though I freestyle, I had a specific framework with my movement. Even if it was dancing, even if it was singing, I had a specific framework I worked with, and I worked that framework. And then with that framework, I could treat it like Legos, like or clay. I could mold it in a certain way, or mold it or another way, or whichever way I wanted to go with it. I had that freedom to go with it, but I had a specific framework I'd go with because on my worst day, I needed that framework. So when you're going, and that's one of the reasons why practice is important, because as you're moving forward, you got to be prepared for your best day, and you have to be prepared for your worst day, and then you have to measure and be able to take notes and say, how did I do? And let me ask you a question. How many people watch themselves? How many of you watch yourselves? You watch yourselves back? That's an uncomfortable thing to do. I'm curious. Any of you guys do that? Put in the comments and let me know. Because that is a very uncomfortable thing to do, but it takes you to such another level. For the longest time, even in my 33 years as a performing artist and movement coach, I didn't like watching myself. And that was a lot of that is because of a mindset. I needed to have a mindset of, I had a mindset of, oh, I hate just watching myself. I just, ew, this is just, and I knew other professional artists and even people in the sports world, they don't like watching themselves. And that's all good. I'm a fan of watching myself now. I made that change because when I watch myself, I kind of get in the zone and say, well, wow, I could do that. I did that really, really good. That's cool. I need to make that a signature thing right there I'm doing. A lot of people say, well, if watch yourself and see what you can do better. Yeah, I hear that. Part of that's kind of boring though. I like looking at what I did good, and that gives me confidence. And so when it comes to being present on camera, I know those things that work. I know if I move my hands, I know if I look towards you, that works. It's engaging. So I get that data from myself and I learn myself. And even having a background as a marketer, it's important to be able to pay attention and take notes because I could always get better and better and better. And it's an ongoing thing. I don't have to feel the stress of getting stuck because I'm in a groove of continually getting better and better and better. Does that make sense? Comment yes if that makes sense. So think about that. Practice. Try to put that in your schedule. But even if you go off the cuff and you improv, practice that. Kenneth says, I'm conscious and aware of myself in the moment. I love that. Sometimes I may watch a video of myself and notice little things. Yeah, it does make a difference, And Cameron also says, oh, I love this. I believe that I need to practice how I answer the framework. Not what is said, because the context of the questions may vary. Right. Like so when you're speaking, so you're talking about when you're getting feedback, when you have questions, make sure I read that right. I'm looking at my screen ahead of me, so I'll make sure I read that right. I believe that I need to practice how I answer the framework, not what is said, because the context of the questions may vary. That's true. That's true. So you always, and so that's where if you go off the cuff, right? That's where that's you have that as a strength. People ask you questions, you could be ready. And that's what I want to talk about that as well. You want to be flexible and you want to listen, and that's a way of being in the moment as well. So that's awesome that you have that strength, Cameron. That's awesome. So think about that. The next thing I want to talk about is breathing deeply. Now, I'm not trying to get woo-woo here, right? But As I get older, even as a performing artist and a coach, I see the importance of breathing deeply, and plus having kids, I, I see the importance of breathing deeply and slowly before I speak, being conscious of that, and also making that a routine. Because reality is when the pressure's on, that's not what we're thinking of. Like when the pressure's on for you, I'm curious, what are the things that you think of when the pressure's on? I know for me, I'm like, and I tense up, and then it's no good. And I'm not in the moment. I'm not able to be in the moment. I lost it. But the cool thing is with breathing deeply and slowly before speaking, if you breathe deeply in through your nose, that's what I do, and out through my mouth. I do that. That's very helpful for me. I'm able to get a grip. So even if I sing or if I speak or if I dance, it's interesting because I make that part of my presentation. Sometimes I might take a breather, and it might be 3 seconds, 5 seconds that goes on. And the reality is, and this is something that I talk about in my Confident Video Star Accelerator coaching program, commanding the crowd. Commanding the crowd, I could take a deep breath and step back and look, give a gesture, feel my beard. I'm the golden beard guy. I could do any of that and take a breather and take a moment to regroup and pick myself back up. That's important because it helps you to be able to get a grip. It helps you to be able to get back on track of getting back on your framework of what you need to speak. And also if you're speaking on the cuff or if you're speaking with a script, it helps you to get back on track. I know there's people in our audience. Some of you speak with the script, some of you speak off the cuff. I know Cameron mentioned that, and I think it's good. I think all of it's good. Some people say, by the way, it's not good to speak with a script. I love it. I'm a fan of it. Because also as a coach, that's just how I go. Whatever discipline I work in, I like to get as much in my tool belt as possible. And so I could teach it. I could live it and teach it, So, but that's important. Being able to take a breather and taking a moment to pause, And by inhaling deeply and slowly, you could reduce the stress level and enhance your ability to be present. Is that a struggle for you? Let me know. And also, once you're feeling calm and focused, you'll be able to and be ready to deliver. And here's another thing too. When you're speaking and you're commanding a crowd, you want to be able to show authority. You want to be able to speak with authority. Because if you speak with conviction and authority, people will believe you. So as you practice and as you breathe deeply, you're able to be able to do that. You're able to speak with conviction. You're able to have that authority and be able to get the respect of the crowd, command the respect of your audience through the lens. Yeah? Another thing, I just did that, right? Maintaining eye contact. Y'all still with me? If you're still with me, hit that like button. And also, by the way, if you find this giving you value, please hit the like button, the love button, share it. If you're on Facebook, you could also share this as well. I think that there are 3 buttons on the right-hand side. If not, I'll create a video to show you in the future. If you can't find it, that's okay. Yes. All right. Cameron says yes. All right. So those are the things you want to think about. So eye contact. Eye contact is one of my favorite things because there's so much you could do and the eyes say so much. As an actor, I've taken acting classes. It's not when I do things in the entertainment industry, people sometimes ask me, what do you like to do the most? It doesn't matter to me. For me, it's all communication, whether I act or model or sing or dance or choreograph. I'm speaking, my body's speaking. I'm saying something. I'm communicating. So speaking with eye contact, having eye contact is super important with being in the moment because that way you're able to be focused, right? And you're able to be in the moment and you're able to focus on the people on the other side. When I teach, I say to people, think about one person. Think about your target audience. Some people don't know this word, but think about your avatar, that person that you're serving, the person who has struggles right now, and they're trying to get to the finish line in a specific area in their lives. And here you are. It's your calling to bring them to the finish line. So in that note, it's like when I'm having a conversation with some, we're talking. It's me and you. Even right now, it's me and you talking right now. As opposed to, see the difference? There's so much distraction that comes. So you end up getting distracted, but also subconsciously, I'm distracted. But if it's me and you here, I'm focused. I do off the cuff and I do notes. And so when I need to look at my notes, I can just look back at my notes, but I have it right in the back of my camera. That's how I have it set up. So I'm still able to be in the present, still able to be focused on what I need to say and who I need to speak to. So you want to be able to have that eye contact. That's very, very important. Um, is that a challenge for you? I'm curious. Having eye contact. Let me know in the comment area. But that does so much. That makes all the difference. And a side note too, when you're on camera, here's a side note. When you're on camera, you want to be able to be eye level with your camera. You don't want to speak up and speak down to you, or I don't want to be like this when I'm speaking up to you. I'm gonna put a video out about that as well next week. If it's like this, I feel like I'm small in your world. If I'm like this, I'm kind of come across like I'm over you subconsciously. So you want to be that. So if you be even with your eye level, speak right into the camera and be able to have that conversation. Yeah. And now as you go, you want to practice it more and more. You want to have that practice in your schedule, because the more you can do this, the more you feel comfortable and the more you're freed up to be in the moment and to be present. The next thing is you want to have body language. You want to be able to have good body language. And we're going to talk about this a little bit, because it's like, what does that have to do with being present? Body language. Well, body language is important, because as I'm presenting and as I'm speaking, as I'm breathing, for me, I use my body a lot. And it says so much. Like when with me, with practicing in any discipline of the arts, I use my body, right? When I'm singing, I use my body. When I use my body, it takes me to another level. I think about that when that quote where Tony Robbins says, "Motion creates emotion." So the more motion you have, the more motion you could put into what you're doing. The more of your whole self you put into what you're doing. So you use your body language. You're talking. You're using your hands. You're using your gestures. If I do something like this, I'm deliberate. If I'm leaning back, I could lean back like this, like I'm afraid of the camera, or I could lean back like, did you see that? Do you understand? Wasn't that quote amazing? And that brings more excitement to you. That brings more excitement to me. The dialogue is strong and I'm in a zone. Cameron says, I need to be still until I get excited through what I'm sharing. That's I hear what you're saying. That's a good one, but try this too. And then here's the thing too, where it's a balance you have to strike, because some people may look at it as being fake. If you like, I don't say fake it till you make it. Actually, I do tell my dance students that to get them over the hump, and it works. But I don't in other disciplines, I try not to say that, because you have to bring your organic self to what you're doing. But there are so many areas in our lives right now that we haven't discovered yet. So as we move forward, life is a continual series of moving forward. We're going to discover so much. So what I do is I try to keep moving. It's like exercise. I wake up in the morning, right? I don't want to go to the gym. Luckily, I put my clothes on the side of my bed, right? And then I get my clothes and I get ready. When I get to the gym, do I feel excited? No. When I get to that first Nautilus machine, do I feel excited? No. But I got to put my whole self into it. The more you put your whole self into it, the more you get out of it. And that's a lesson even from being a peak performer. That's what peak performers do. You start right off the bat and do it. You make it happen. And that only enhances your growth. So that's something to look at. That's something to think about. Putting yourself into it from the get-go. Because also when you're presenting on camera, and whether you're doing a live or if you're Zoom or what have you, you may not have more than 3 seconds to get someone's attention. So because once you do, even online, when you're doing a live, if you're doing a video, there's so much screaming for attention nowadays. So you have to be able to catch their attention right off the bat. So that's something to really work towards. And so for me, that's why I do it naturally. I'm an introvert. I'm like, look, I could, as a performing artist, I learned to be outgoing, but after I'm outgoing, I need a nap. I need some food. I need something. But I know that right off the bat, I got to give them because I only have a few seconds to capture people's attention. So it's pretty much for that. You want to be able to hook people in. And so you being the master of you being in control of you want to be able to set the bar for that. We all have the power to do that. We have that God-given power to be able to do that. So that's something to think about and to work towards. Our body language, what we say, how we express. Right off the bat, we want to be able to give that energy. And that's one thing I learned too from even when I go on. There was one coach that I had, Vince Reed, amazing internet marketer. Sometimes I'll show up, and I put this in my book too. Sometimes I'm going to talk about that too. Sometimes I show up with low energy, and then my energy would build up. But by the time my energy built up, I lost, as far as my exchange, I lost some power with that. So it was hard for me to be present. So I hope that's helpful. Yes. Also, you want to be able to speak clearly and confidently, clearly and concisely, I should say. You want to be concise and you want to be clear when you speak. Because one, that brings power to what you're saying as you speak with conviction. That brings power to what you're saying to your audience, and they're able to receive it more. But it also gives you confidence as you do it, and as you look back and you study yourself out, you're able to get better and better. How can I be more clear in this conversation? So even this video right here, as a marketer, I'm gonna give you full disclosure. I am gonna cut this video up into short form videos and put it out in reels. But I'm also gonna look at myself and say, hey, how can I speak more clearly? Did I ramble on too much? Was I concise enough? That's gonna be able to help me out. And every time I do it, I'm gonna get better and better. That's the goal. That's the goal. So you want to be able to speak clearly and concisely. Your ability to articulate your message, you'll feel more at ease and more present. Does this give you value so far? If so, hit that like button. So those are the 5 things I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to give you a quick bonus. Can I give you a bonus? Can I give you a bonus? So here's the next thing. And Cameron, you talked about this as well, actually. You want to be able to listen and respond. You want to listen and respond. Drink my water. Just came from class. You want to be able to listen and respond. When people, oh, absolutely, Jeff, anytime. When you're having a dialogue, just like I'm doing now, and I'm kind of doing a call and response. Even with singing, and with dance, we do what's called like a call and response. I may call a move out and do a specific dance move, or I might sing something specifically, and or Bobby McFerrin, he's a great example. He'll sing or do a movement, and he calls for the audience to respond. That's such a beautiful dance right there, so to speak. You want to be able to do that in your speaking, especially on camera, because you want to keep the engagement going. And music too, that's right. That's right. Oh, musicians? What? Why, Cameron, you a musician? That's true. That's true, though. But it's a continual dance, and you want to be able to do that when you're conversating. And that is one of my favorite ways to be in the moment. Like how we're interacting, we're having engagement. Plus, it's really good for the algorithms on any platform that you're on. Oh, Cameron says, I do it verbally and need to improve. Is that new? Oh, nonverbal language. Yeah. Me too. And so for me, I have all this experience with nonverbal language, right? But now is the time where I'm honing it in. I'm kind of reining some of it in, because some of it sometimes it could be too much. And even knowing myself as a speaker and as a movement coach and as a on-camera coach, I want to be able to break the rules too. And this is something I talk about too. You learn specific principles and you make them your own, and then you break them. And when you break them, that's where a lot of your authenticity is hidden as well. So you learn the rules and you break them. But having that conversation, that dance, that back and forth, asking the questions and looking at the comments and saying, oh, wow, that's a great point, and having great conversation. And here's a bonus on that. It builds relationship with your audience. You're able to build relationship with your audience. So, guys, these are some things I wanted to talk to you about. Get on online. I hope this brought you value. I was really excited to talk about this. I think this is definitely an important topic and to keep talking about. And also, I want you to, in the comment area, any other tips that come to mind. I do have some more tips, but any other tips you have that help you, feel free to leave it in the comment area. I'm curious, and we can keep that dialogue going. So those are the things we talked about today. We talked about, we talked about practicing beforehand. We talked about breathing deeply and slowly before speaking. And that one, I'm still working on that, but I'm having fun with it. We talked about maintaining eye contact. We talked about using body language. We talked about speaking clearly and concisely. Yeah. And then we also talked about listening and responding. So let's build on these principles, friends. Let's build on these principles and help each other out. And so I want to encourage you, just to let you know, I'm going to be making an announcement. Basically, and Cameron did this too. We're in the same coaching group. I wrote a book talking about speaking confidently on camera, and I'm going to be doing a book party soon. And I want to keep you guys posted about it. Not yet. It's not going to happen yet, but it's going to happen really, really soon. I'm going to put some news about it on Monday. And we're going to have a book party. Really excited about that. I think the book is going to give you a lot of value, and I'm really, really excited about it. So if you want to know more about it, I want you to type in the chat area. Let me know. Let me know. And I'll follow up with you and give you the information. All right. So thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you. If you find that this gave you value, feel free to like, comment, share, tag someone, share it with the world. Share it with the world. All right. And thank you so much. I will let me know. I will let you know. Cameron, I will let you know. And hey, listen. And if anything, we're going to have a party. And I love having a party. All right. So thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon. Ciao for now. Keep going after that confidence. Keep going after it.